Okay, this is going to be a video talking about levels with Netflix pre-market and in the first opening minutes of 14 sessions, starting with Tuesday, February 24th and going to today, Friday, March 13th. Starting on Tuesday, February 24th, it shows a 470, and it had a low, open low 471.49 to for 475, 476 on the open. So a round level there. On the 25th, it was a 20, showing the potential to hold in the 475 area to go to the 479s. So 20 being a round level on that day. Thursday, February 26th, it stacked 480s. Round dollar level. These are the more obvious setups. And it was able to make it to, let's look at the chart on that day, an initial run to 483 and then 485 and 486 by about the 11 o'clock time area. Friday, February 27th, a breakable bid showing just before the open. So it went down initially from those 484s down to a break of 480 for nice short trade. Breakable bid level, breakable level, 49, not round, not a 20, a 30, or a 50, or a 25. Now going to March. Double ask for some resistance versus 475. You got a round level there. And a little help from EdgeX at a 20 as well. That's considered resistance. So the open, the high on the open is 474.77. And from that basic 475 area, you get a reject down to below 471. 2 points there. These are just momentum trade setups off the open, if you haven't gathered that already. 480 wall on the ask. Okay, nice and round. And versus 480, initially 5 points-ish, depending on just where you pull the trigger. And stay with it and you get more, because obviously psychological round level 480, rejected. March 4th, little bit more tricky. There were a couple. It showed some resistance with this round 473 at first, but it's red, which means on E-Trade level 2 it's going to go through, from what I've read anyway. Let's see if that was earlier on. Which one am I looking for here? Right here, the open high was 474.19, and you have a double kind of sitting there on the ask in the 931 minute at a 30-cent level there. So doubled and roundish. Thursday, March 5th. A stack at a 25-cent level. And also you add this up to about 1,100 shares worth, and it's more than this lefty over here. And it gave a short to 467. How's the chart look? Not bad. Still getting a few points there. I believe these are 3-minute charts. They might be 1 minute. That looks like it's 3 minute. Yeah, 10 candles in 3 minutes. Okay. Friday, March 6th. A breakable level. The largest order is a 27-cent breakable. Confirmation of downside with a UBSS at this with this stack, this level. Now this can be perhaps breakable, but maybe because of this guy can be very manipulative on moves. So that's a little bit outside of this theory area, but just to make a note of that there. EdgeX getting into it for 463 is now, this is when it confirmed more downside. Here you have a 40. I don't think I mentioned that in my chat mention, but another one considered, 20, 30s, and 40s cent levels have been observed thus far. Okay, now let's get into this week. Digging up the dirt on Netflix. All right. Monday, a 20-cent level, stack. It gives an open high of 455.65. It breaches that by about 45 cents. Then it reverses and it tanked quite a bit on Monday. That's when I made that big down move. And the 455s, you got a 448 by not too many 3-minute candles later. Go to Tuesday, the 10th. Let's see. Let's see if this shows it. Now, it is roundish on the right and breakable on the left. It's just this is earlier, so it's not going to be very definitive at that point. These things become a lot more well defined, or defined, if at all, between the 928 to 931 window. This is breakable on the bid, so when it lost the 440, it had more downside in it. I think it went to 436, the 436 area on this. This is 932 and 36 seconds. Apologize. This is a one I'd really like to talk about. There's a round with 930 shares, and you have 700 at a breakable on your bid there, the 28. These things, I'm just noticing them and making notes of them. I will never make predictions based on this stuff. I'll watch this, and if I see these things, I'll trade on the probabilities that are delineated by these round and breakable levels. We're March 11th today. A very clean long. So it's stacked a round level just before, this is 929.58, just before the open, stacked a round level. There is a breakable ask showing a minute and a half before the open here. the largest clump of shares there, 700 worth, is at a 0.96. It's the breakable. Those have breakable characteristics. Yesterday, Thursday the 12th, is an interesting scenario because it actually broke a round level. Let's see. That is showing where? There it was showing the push versus a round level at 920 a little earlier. Here it is, right at the open. The 444 is showing a round level, and most of the time you'd be really watching that. It's 929.55, just right at the open. You're really watching that for resistance because it's a round, but it surpassed it. And when it got past that, that was an event that produced this. 444 being crossed. Not long after, by 10 o'clock, that's already printing 450s. Okay, so you watch these, on either side of the equation. Here's on the prep video that I make at about 9 o'clock, 9:03. It's showing asks that are a 0.89 with a more roundish and a nice size on the bid, but breakable over here on the ask. And then today we had an interesting one here. It was a 30-cent that showed, there it was trying to go long for a minute versus the previous afternoon low. There it is. There it is. So in the colors, in the top bids, the highest share amount is at a 0.30. It acted as basically a resistance level. It did put in a 448.39. It did surpass this by $1, and then did the reject of the previous afternoon low, which was 448.17, and went down to the 445s on the initial, in 933, just the quick first flush. So that's the scoop of what I've observed as far as 20 cent, 30 cent, 50 cent, 40 cent levels acting as, well, in a lot of these cases it looks like it's resistance, but I'll just keep digging and see if they act as support as well. And of course the round dollar levels, those orders acting as support and resistance as well in all of these instances.